The plans are to consolidate the BRICS, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, along with the Eurasian Economic Union. You're talking a super group encapsulating north of 85% of human population. GDP and military might way bigger than ours, way bigger. And when you talk about pushback, well, let me push back a little bit here too. And if this happens, if indeed these groups do unite August 22nd, and I believe they will, because it's important to mention the entire membership of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, including its dialogue partners, its associate members, will be attending the BRICS meeting.
Intrigued to know how the age-old battle between East and West could shape the world's future? Discover the compelling analysis of renowned analyst Andy Schectman as he unravels the potential impact of the rising BRICS alliance. Will the West's dominance finally wane and the global East ascend to power? Uncover the captivating insights in the full video and be part of the conversation that could reshape our world. So, keep watching until the end of the video with Andy Schectman.
The United States has done more to destroy itself over the last few years, in my humble opinion, than any of its foes could have ever done. Whether you're talking about, to me, during 2020, the obvious horrific thing was a virus, but to me, the most horrific thing was censorship, cancel culture, or now the obsession with transgenderism, or wealth inequality, or alarmism related to climate change, or the violence and the protests that and the defunding of the police that motivated me to leave Minneapolis almost 3 years ago, or the blatant political corruption that we see in this country, of all places, the land of the free, the home of the brave, where people will trudge miles, hundreds or thousands of miles on foot to find a better life, or raft across a stormy sea to find a better life in this country. And as I said before, liberty and justice for all. But is it really being applied equally? Is justice and liberty really being applied equally? You know, the full faith and credit in the United States government and the backing of the Saudis and OPEC pricing oil in dollars. Well, that's what makes the dollar, right? The full faith and credit. We are broke. We are insolvent. We are almost $200 trillion in debt. We are a banana republic by banana republic measurements. This is not the country that I grew up in, or you, and I don't care what people say. It's not, and things are changing. And when you talk about the full faith and credit behind an insolvent country who is disregarding the equal application of the law, to me, it is alarming. It is not what the world reserve currency stands for, nor is weaponizing of a dollar and sanctioning assets that turn into confiscating assets that turn into giving it to the Ukraine, to a war that we should never be involved in, bankrupting our country, selling all our munitions. I could go on and on and on. Main Street media disinformation, the rising acceptance of socialist ideas, stakeholder capitalism over shareholder capitalism, or ESG, where Larry Fink, the head of the biggest hedge fund in the world, thinks it's okay to call the CEOs of every company that he throws his money at and says, well, if you're not ESG compliant, well, we can't invest in your company, and buyer beware. What I'm getting at is things are changing, not just out there with the BRICS, and those are changing too. But it's very important when some of the guests push back and they say, well, who's going to trust China? Who the hell trusts the U.S. anymore? And that is exactly what distributed ledger technology, or blockchain, and gold will represent if done properly. And so I think it's very important, first and foremost, to focus there. Now let's talk about your comment about the number of countries joining the BRICS endeavor. Yes, I have gone out on a limb for 3 years and 1,300 videos and said there is going to be a gold-backed BRICS currency because they reclassified the dollar or gold as the only other tier 1 reserve asset. And is there any coincidence that all the central banks leading up to that event and after that event repatriated all their gold and have gone on a huge buying spree? No, there's not a coincidence. Is there a coincidence that the others, the most sophisticated private investors, are draining the exchanges? No, it's not a coincidence. Any more so than the central banks, the most sophisticated, well-informed investors in the world, literally buying more gold over the last 18 months than at any time in history. Why? Because gold's a tier 1. Why? Because evidently, according to Jim Rickards, he has the courage to put a date on it. That's one thing I have never had. I said it's inevitable. The clues are pointing to this direction. If you don't see it, you're not paying attention. They're going to use gold and blockchain to legitimize, to give credibility and honesty to a system that is broke, corrupt, and dishonest as hell. And you know what? They're going to do it, and it's going to make a big dent. Now, where the rubber meets the road is Jim has the courage or the insight or the foresight to note that on August 22nd, when the BRICS countries meet, that they will issue a new gold-backed currency. I believe it. One piece he hasn't talked about, but I've read elsewhere, and I kind of had to do the math, is the concept of a growing union. Now, I want to also pat myself on the back and say, how many times on your show have I mentioned the following? You have the BRICS, okay, but you got the Belt Road Initiative, 150 countries, every OPEC country. I've said that 1,000 times on your show. How about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization? I've said that 1,000 times. The largest regional financial military organization in the world, 60% of the Eurasian landmass, 40% of global GDP. Said that 1,000,000 times on your show. How about the Eurasian Economic Union? Said that too. Never put them together, but the reason I talked about them together is because of the massive, massive interconnection. You have half of the countries are in all of the groups together. Look at Saudi Arabia. They've joined the BRICS, the Belt Road, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and the New Development Bank. Look at China and Russia. They're, the Eurasian Economic Union for Russia, the BRICS, the Belt Road. All of these countries are all tangled up together. Well, guess what is happening now, according to many people? The plans are to consolidate the BRICS, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, along with the Eurasian Economic Union. You're talking a super group encapsulating north of 85% of human population. GDP and military might way bigger than ours, way bigger. And when you talk about pushback, well, let me push back a little bit here too. And if this happens, if indeed these groups do unite August 22nd, and I believe they will because it's important to mention the entire membership of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, including its dialogue partners, its associate members, will be attending the BRICS meeting in August 22nd through the 24th. And the rumor is they are all going to consolidate into one union, and it makes a tremendous amount of sense. When you put all of these countries together, all of them together, you have an incredibly formidable force. You have two of the three largest nuclear arsenals in the world. You got north of 15 to 20% of all the proven gold reserves that are being held above ground, let alone the biggest accumulators and producers of it amongst many of the other commodities, including rare earth metals that are needed for a green agenda, are all made over there. And when you look online right now and Google how many countries have joined BRICS, you keep seeing 41, 41, 41, 41. Count them. What do you get? 25. Well, let's just think about this for a second. Where could those other 16 countries be coming from? Well, let's see what the Shanghai Cooperation Organization has to say about that. China, they're already part of it. India, they're already part of it. You got Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and Pakistan. Well, Russia's part of it. Pakistan, I can never pronounce it. Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Belarus. One of those has already applied to BRICS. Cambodia, Kuwait, Maldives, Mongolia, Myanmar, Nepal. Saudi Arabia is already in it. Sri Lanka is not in it. That would be 16 or 17. Turkey, Turkmenistan, and Qatar. So some of those countries have already applied. Well, that's the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, including its dialogue partners. And then you got the Eurasian Economic Union, which are a lot of the countries I just mentioned. The point of it is they're going to combine. You're talking the majority of human population.
Recent reports from Bloomberg have made waves, revealing that a whopping 22 countries, including the UAE, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Argentina, Algeria, Egypt, Iran, and Indonesia, have officially applied for BRICS membership. This development has certainly caught the world's attention. South African Ambassador Anil Suklal confirmed the formal applications, leaving no room for doubt. If more members are added at the next summit in August, brace yourselves for BRICS Plus. an even more powerful alliance on the horizon. Not just that, the BRICS Bank, known as the New Development Bank, NDB, is also on the move. Leslie Musdorp, the bank's vice president and chief financial officer, disclosed that the membership expansion process has already been set in motion. Hold your breath as the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, and Bangladesh join the fray, while Uruguay awaits its final stages of membership. Saudi Arabia, too, has shown interest and is willing to inject fresh funds into the bank. The rapid expansion of the BRICS alliance and the NDB certainly raises eyebrows, igniting debates about the potential threat to U.S. dominance. What are your thoughts on this captivating development? Share your insights in the comments section below. If you're as intrigued as we are, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more updates. Thanks for watching as we unravel the fascinating dynamics of the global stage.